We go in the huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. In the Huddle is driven by Mills Fleet Farm. From Tanner's Sports Grill in Kimberly, here is Justin Hall with Packers offensive tackle David Bakhtiari.
And good evening and welcome to Tanner's Sports Grill here in Kimberly. In the Huddle once again on the Woodward Radio Network. Offensive tackle David Bakhtiari hanging out with us tonight after a second straight victory for the Green Bay Packers. About as thrilling as a game can get, 37-36. Come from behind victory over the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know where to start with the game. There's so many different things with it to get to. Let's start with the first half.
Let's start with the second half.
Let's start with the first half. What's going through your mind? You know, the first half's kind of playing itself out. You know, you're down 26-3 at halftime. I mean, it felt like, and I'll be bluntly honest, it felt like this was Detroit all over again. I mean, just watching it from the outside looking in, and I mean, you guys couldn't do anything right.
I mean, if you want to build a great comeback, you know, you have to dig a deep hole so we can get out of it. I mean, I don't know. Things just weren't clicking, and you know, kind of went to halftime. We're like, look, you know, we're at a fork in the road. What are we going to do? And then we came out and, you know, everyone started doing their job and a little bit of magic sprinkled on top of it and came out winning by 1 point.
Yeah, a little magic off the arm of Tony Romo. We can get to that in a little bit later on. But
very true.
Yeah, at halftime, a lot made about, you know, some of the things at halftime. I heard, you know, Flynn was talking about the message really wasn't go out there and win. Just the message was go out there and be a man up, do your job, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us were just go play. I mean, no one person's going to win the game. All of us doing our job will contribute to that. So just have all 11 guys doing what they're supposed to do, and then the rest will take care of itself. Jamari
Lattimore, the inspirational guy in the locker room at halftime, I read an article about that.
Yeah, he was a little fired up. I mean, it wasn't like we all huddled around and he was giving a speech. He was kind of was just screaming, and I could hear him. I'm usually one of those guys that kind of just look. I know what me getting all fired up or screaming, yelling ain't gonna fix it. And just make sure I'm doing my job and have the other guys, you know, everyone doing their job is gonna the only thing to make it work.
I did read your quote on what Matt said before the final drive. It was cleaned up pretty well for us.
Yeah, I mean he's very composed in the huddle. I think that was like the first time I saw him come in and he kind of came in, you know, slapping his hands together, clapping, and just like was fired up. And a couple swear words. I'm like, all right, let's punch this thing in. Let's do it.
What would you say was the turning point of that game? I mean, what was the momentum changer? When did things really, you know, slide to when you felt like, okay, we're going to win this game?
I got to say, I was talking about it with Scott. I think the turning point was when came out that first drive of the second half and Matt threw the ball to Jordy, and I mean Scott said when he saw that ball thrown, he's like, "Oh God, it's gonna be picked," and then he just turned around, he heard everyone uproar, and he scored a touchdown. That was kind of a turning point right there.
Jordy and some of the catches he's made this year, I mean it's unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
just the ability that he has, probably a quarterback's best friend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, throw the ball up there, let the guy do the work. I mean and Jordy's been really good at that.
Flynn's day yesterday, 4 touchdown passes, all coming in the second half, 299 yards. I mean, you know, quite a day for him. And, you know, I mean, offensively, everything you guys were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, the first half, things just weren't clicking. And then, I don't know what happened. Second half, I think we had 5 straight drives.
Yeah, 5 scored on them 5. I think the only possession you didn't score on in the second half was when Matt was taking a knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
which is a good drive not to have to score.
I mean, that's the best drive, best play in football right there.
Eddie Lacy, 21 carries, 141 yards with that go-ahead touchdown. Over 1,000 yards for the season for Eddie. And he's 78 yards short of the rookie record in the all-time history of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, we've been talking about that. We got to get that thing broken.
He wants that? You guys all want that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he's ranting and raving about it, but I mean, I think I want him probably more than he does. I'm more probably about, my guy, we got to get this to be awesome. Because, I mean, we feed off that. I mean, that's part of his stats, reflect upon us, so that's good.
He's got the touchdown record already. Got that from Sam Congato
Nice.
A name in Packer history. Yeah, John Brockington, 1,028 yards. Or that's where Eddie's at right now, 1,028. Rookie record is 1,105. Take us through that game-winning play. You guys are in the huddle. You're lining up, and then all of a sudden, here comes 76 and 90 into the backfield, Mike Daniels and B.J. Raji.
I guess now I reflect upon it, the first thing that popped in mind was, I can't believe we're running this play. And then play was called. We know we got to get a yard and a half, and the only thing that goes in my mind is I got to try and forklift this guy out, and he just dives straight at the ground, and I just hear the crowd screaming. So I'm like, all right, sweet, he got in.
Is that something you guys been working on all year? One of those, up the sleeve kind of plays?
Something we threw in, and that just so happened we need to call it, and that was one of those just so happened we need to call it plays, and it worked. So I guess the coaches are happy about that.
Yeah, I think it was 2010, the Super Bowl year. Raji played a little fullback.
Mm-hmm. He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah,
he's bigger than the average man.
You don't want 337 pounds running at you trying to block you. That's,
no. Or Mike Daniels. He's pretty crazy in the head. So yeah. I don't think you want to get hit.
What he might not have in weight, he probably has in.
He makes up for it.
Defensively, turnovers. Devon and I have been talking about that, extensively for the last few weeks about just how big turning points they were. I think, about week 10, week 11, and just how, defensively they weren't getting the turnovers. Two big ones yesterday was Shields' interception that set up the go-ahead touchdown, and then, of course, Tremont, clinching the game with one. I guess the two perspectives, and both from an offensive perspective, when you guys turn the ball over, what does that do? How does that change things? Is that kind of a shot in the gut maybe?
Yeah, you talk about a momentum shift. You talk about great field position. You talk about getting the opposing team on their heels. It's just a blow to the whole team, when a turnover happens. And then not to mention when you get good field goal position out of it. I think both interceptions were right around the 50 or on their 40-yard line. So, they extremely help because you have a high probability of getting away with that drive with at least scoring, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown.
And then I'm sure the momentum that it gives you when the defense gives you guys the short field, that's a big change
that's
in the
exactly
game.
What I'm saying.
Right into it, yeah. And Mason Crosby, you mentioned him with field goals, 58-yarder yesterday.
Yeah.
For a guy that fans wanted to run out of town, he's doing a pretty good job.
He's a Buffalo, so.
Yeah, he's doing a great job this year. We'll have more with David Bakhtiari when we return, and we'll meet our special guest as we are in the huddle live here from Tanners and Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network. And we're back at Tanner's Sports Grill in Kimberly in the huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. David Bakhtiari, our Packer host, will meet our guest in a moment here. We'll kick it to our Compass Land Consultant injury report. Our friends at Compass Land Consultant are a full-service real estate consulting business specializing in the sale of vacant land that includes hunting property and timber investments. Compass Land Consultants has a team of experts ranging from real estate brokers to appraisers to professional foresters, all with the knowledge you need when searching for that perfect piece of land. Give them a call today, 800-548-6933, or you can check them out on the web at clclands.com. Injury update, it's good. We're knocking on wood here because it's starting to shrink down as the season has gone on here. Aaron Rodgers, he missed game number 6 yesterday with the collarbone. No update on him. We'll find out more on Wednesday. Johnny Jolly, he was lost in the game early yesterday with a shoulder injury, saying it's a stinger. C.J. Wilson also yesterday with an ankle. And Randall Cobb, he's eligible to return and hopefully getting healthier. I know they'll evaluate him a little bit more on Wednesday. Well, let's do it. Let's meet our guest tonight, and really happy to have him aboard here because I know everyone in the state of Wisconsin familiar with him and his time in Madison, a third-year quarterback. He's a Badger, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterback Scott Tolzien.
I haven't even got that applause yet.
Scott coming out in the Christmas spirit, donned in the Santa hat.
It's really a cover-up for bad hair day. But, yeah, why not?
Palatine, Illinois. You grew up a Packer fan in a house full of Bear fans.
Yeah, I was the black sheep of the family, middle of 3 brothers, and they were Bear fans. But I actually thought when you're really young, I thought the jerseys were cool that the Packers had. That was the starting point. And then my golden birthday was September 4th, and I got a Packers 4 jersey, 4 for my birthday soon after Favre took over.
Yep.
And the rest is history, as they say.
So have there been a lot of converts this season into a green and gold nation in the Tolzien household?
Yeah, we've had a bunch of converts, and actually 3/4 of the family will be here Sunday for the game. I got a brother overseas, but they'll be there, and there will be no Bears apparel. It will not be allowed.
Fremd High School, am I getting that right?
Fremd
High School in Illinois. What was competition like Illinois high school?
As far as the quarterback position?
Just competition over like high school.
I think my biggest competition was in the backyard with my brothers. Just a lot of bloody noses, and that was what happened when your friends came over. Video games hadn't really taken off, so you went in the backyard, and it was during football season. It was football, baseball, basketball, and this time of year, this is like the perfect hockey snow covering on the driveway. You wanted a couple inches, so it was nice and slippery. So that was the competition with my brothers and our buddies.
How about high school-wise, David? I want to ask you, California. A lot gets made out California versus Texas. That big high school rivalry, better competition. Who's got it?
California.
California?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, something else to say
No
about that.
brainer, right?
Yeah.
Well, everyone, knew you from your time here in Wisconsin. How'd you end up a Badger? Take us through that story, getting recruited and, coming to Madison.
I was actually telling Dave about it on the way over here. I was shocked he didn't have my whole career memorized and disappointed. And
I do
did.
now. So
I really didn't have any offers out of high school. I had scholarship offers from Northern Illinois, Toledo, and University of Kentucky. But basically what happened was I told all those schools I was going to wait until after my senior season. I didn't want to have any distractions for my team or myself, and went on a few official visits. But more or less, all 3 of those schools, I lost my scholarship because I had waited too long, and they had got their 2 quarterback commits for that class. And long story short, I was on Wisconsin's radar somewhere down their board of players, and as other guys committed elsewhere, I got a scholarship offer from Coach Bielema 10 days before signing day. And at that point, it was an easy decision because I really didn't have any other options. But it all worked out well.
Yeah, you came in, you redshirted your first year. Your freshman year, then you sat, and then you beat out Dustin Shear your sophomore year for that starting job, and here you are.
Yes, honestly, I see a lot of similarities from high school to college to pro in that I didn't play in high school. I didn't start on the varsity until my junior year, sat on the bench for 2 years. In college, sat on the bench for 3 years. I played my final 2, and then same with the pros. Sat my first 2 years, and then third year got my opportunity. So there's a lot to be said about being able to watch from the sideline first and kind of take in all the information and just be really observant rather than being thrown into the fire right off the bat, like Dave here.
Yeah.
But Dave's done an awesome job.
Trial by
there's
inferno.
benefits to that, too.
I guess, going back to I guess when the whole draft process is going through, when did the NFL become a reality to you? I mean, playing at your time in Wisconsin, and you go undrafted, you get to San Diego, and you get on with their practice squad. When did you start thinking and realizing, hey, you know what, I got a shot to do this at the next level?
Yeah, to be honest, I was like most kids growing up and had a dream to play in the NFL. Actually, for the Packers, that was my team. But in college, it was a struggle the first few years, and kind of, I really took my academics seriously, thankfully, because I really didn't think I had a shot at the pro level. And even going into my senior season, I had 1 year under my belt, but really hadn't had an extraordinary junior season. And so you're really just looking for an opportunity at that point. Bottom line, I was really fortunate. I had a lot of talent around me at the college level. My entire offensive line is playing in the pros now. So my job was simple. I was just the distributor. just kind of the point guard, getting everyone else the ball, and had a lot of talent around me, and that's probably why I made it to this level.
So you go to San Diego for the practice squad. San Francisco then signs you from San Diego. You're there through training camp this year, and then you end up in Green Bay after roster cuts. How did that work out, and were there other options? I mean, how did that one play?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, and I think when you're in this profession, you learn that for every guy that has a long tenure with the team, there's 5 guys that are bouncing around. And that's been the case. It was my 3rd team in 3 years. Had great experiences in all 3 spots, San Diego, San Fran, and here. So you take bits and pieces from everything, and ultimately that becomes a part of who you are. But certainly I love it here. It's been a privilege, and I got cut from San Fran at the end of the preseason, and a few teams called, Packers being one of them. And at that point you're just weighing the positives and negatives to every situation, really trying to predict the future, even though we all know that that's not possible. But the track record of the backups here, funny enough, one of them being Matt, on what he did. I mean, that was no secret to me what he was able to accomplish as a backup. And a great coaching staff, and obviously learning from the best in Aaron every day. It's been an awesome learning experience.
David, I'll ask you this. Scott comes in, and guys on the practice squad, they come in after training camp, after OTAs and all that, so there's a little bit much more to observe in, but coming in as a quarterback, I mean, that's got to be a whole different animal. What did you see from Scott, and what stood out to you when he got here?
Well, when he first came here, my brother actually texted me because they played together in San Fran, and he's like, hey, I played with Scott. He's a good guy. Make sure to go talk to him. So, and I ended up going up to him and saying hi, and he did the same thing. He's like, oh yeah, I remember Eric. He goes, you guys look the same. You guys talk very same, very similar. I was like, oh, thanks. Okay, cool. And then that was pretty much about it. But I mean, he is literally a junkie when it comes to the playbook and taking reps. Like, it does go, a lot of people goes unnoticed, but I actually noticed this guy will take reps every day in practice. When he's not even out there, he does a snap by himself, does his drop back, like pretends like he's taking the rep. Because, I mean, it just shows, the attention to the detail and the love of the game. And then we were talking about on the way here how much, it's a lot to take in for an offense. I mean, he, just studies it like, he was telling me, you study for hours. I'm like, man, I don't have to know all that stuff.
and I'm sure, too, the time frame, and we'll get to that coming up here in a second, but, going from 1 week, you're on the practice squad, then you're on the active roster, next thing you know, you're starting. We'll kind of get into that progression, too, because that's probably about as quickly getting thrown into the fire of an instance you can find. Scott Tolzien, David Bakhtiari, more in the Huddle here on the Woodward Radio Network. And bringing it back here to Tanner Sports Grill and Kimberly in the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. Scott Tolzien and David Bakhtiari with us. Transportation for our guests brought to you by L&S Classic Limousine. You know how hard-working Lenny is? He dropped you guys off, and then he took off.
Yeah, that's what he said in these conditions. It's only 2-wheel drive, too, so it's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, watching him drive that limo.
Got you down here in time, safe and sound. That's the best way to do it.
We were drifting. It was like Tokyo Drift style. It was crazy.
Well, Scott, I want to get to where you were talking about that, and just kind of going back to that, the process there. The Chicago game, Aaron goes down, and then the Philadelphia game, Seneca goes down. Does it seem like a blur? Because, I guess on the outside looking in, going from, the practice squad and you guys primarily working as the other team, not really working into the offense, and even as, the backup, you're not taking the starter reps. There's a big discrepancy there. But going back to that, the mindset of trying to get ready, take us through that.
Yeah, that's where a couple of things come to mind there. And you're told, when you're a backup in this business, you're told, I prepare like a starter every week. And, that's when I truly learned, that's why I'm glad I had at that point because, like you said, a crazy situation. And all of a sudden you're thrown in the fire. But I'm thankful that I did treat every week leading up to that as a starter, even though I was on the practice squad running, the other team's quarterback because there's a whole team counting on me, and you're on the field and it's you and 10 other guys, and they're counting on me to put them in the right position. So there's that, and then I think you always got to. I think you can prepare for adversity just in anything in life, and the more you kind of go through those situations in your head before, it certainly helps you when all of a sudden it's a reality. So I think I'm glad that I had the right approach going in, because it could have been a different situation, and I'm glad I just treated it that way.
And I think one of the best endorsements for you, as reading it late last week, there was an article where McCarthy was talking about hoping you're here for the long haul. I mean, that's got to be good to hear that as you continue to develop, because I think you're still young. I mean, you're still first year in this system and developing as a quarterback.
Yeah, it'll be huge to have an off season, especially they have a thing here called quarterback school. Yep. Where you basically work with your coaches one-on-one on the fundamentals of the position, and it'll just be big for me to kind of learn the offense from the ground up, at the one-on-one level, rather than in season right now. It's kind of there's a whole nother complexity, so I'm looking forward to going back to the basics and kind of getting that teaching from the beginning from my coaches.
Let's talk about comebacks. I know last time you were here, David, we had a tribute to ties, which was interesting. So I thought today we do a tribute to comebacks for the comeback victory yesterday. And ironically enough, the 23-point comeback ties for the biggest comeback in Green Bay Packer history. 1982.
I wasn't even alive then.
No. Scott, you weren't alive either, were you?
No. Long after that.
It was the Rams, L.A. or St. Louis. I'm not sure where they were, because I was about 9 months old. I wasn't that old at that time either. Bart Starr was the quarterback, or the coach, and Lynn Dickey was the quarterback.
Wow.
It's all news to me.
I'm surprised the Rams were even a franchise in 1982. I thought there was like 5 teams back then.
In 82? Maybe 62, going back to that time. But I guess, was that the best comeback you guys have ever been a part of? David, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, without a question.
Yeah.
After the game, I was, I guess when someone's speechless, I was like emotionless. I just didn't know what to. I mean, to be honest, some guys were crying. Some guys were saying, like, this is better than the Super Bowl. The guys that played there, like, they said that their emotions. And to me, I was just like, I don't know how to. That's why I literally tweeted, I'm like, did that? Like, so I guess that just happened, huh?
Better than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I heard someone say that in the locker room.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's probably a guy who already won
Maybe
a Super
they said
Bowl.
it was funner than the Super Bowl.
Funner than the Super
Yeah.
Bowl? Okay. Because that was probably a business week with the Super Bowl. You guys will find that out sometime here along the way. Okay. That's me talking. What was the biggest comeback you were a part of before this one? What would you point to?
I'd love to say Colorado. I had a few, but I don't think so. I told Eddie, I'm
a few was number of wins in Colorado.
I told Eddie, I was like, that was a Colorado start to an Alabama finish.
You were probably on the other end of it at Colorado.
Yeah. Very true. I can't think of a comeback.
Do you know of any, Scott? Do you remember any?
Nothing to this magnitude. I think the thing with this week was, the season was on the line. I mean, if we don't win this one, season's pretty much over. And I thought that was the biggest thing. And also being on the road, I mean, that stadium is incredible. I mean, it truly is Jerry's world in there. And to be able to flip the momentum in someone else's building, that was super impressive from my sideline perspective, was to see the whole momentum. And we took over that building, and that's not easy to do.
It got loud. Like, Packer fans were getting, it almost sounded like, I mean, at least for an away game for me, it got pretty loud of Packer fans in that stadium.
Yeah.
And I saw the video after the game, the breakdown of the huddle. When you guys, after you won, it was 1, 2, 3, our house.
Our house.
Our house?
Our house.
Our house.
It's Donnie and Coach McCarthy's Pittsburgh accent. I don't know how to do it, but
yeah.
But kind of a play on the last time you guys were there.
Yeah, that's how Donnie's pregame speech kind of said that let's do it, make this our house, and then after the game everyone was chanting like our house. It was a lot of emotions there. It was a lot
The
of fun.
Pittsburgh accent is what he's trying to get
Yeah,
to.
I have terrible.
That was
yeah.
the
joke.
California
You got to help me
version
out. You
of
got to
the
help me out. You're
Pittsburgh
closer.
accent.
Yeah.
We got our Midwest accents.
Yeah, let's hear you just try and say "ahas."
I
It's the way
can't.
Donnie does it.
I gotta channel my inner German. H-A-U-S. Haas.
You mentioned Texas Stadium and just how immaculate it was. I mean, just kind of your first thought when you walk out there and you see what was the scoreboard from the 20 to the 20 and just all the different things that were
That was
going on in
annoying.
that building. Was it?
I mean, I bet it's great for a viewer, but I mean, in kind of my perspective, I like having them at the end zone. So then after replay, I can see what happened, and I can kind of watch myself. I'm like, okay, good, all right. You can see how I did in the play, but I couldn't see anything. And anytime I tried to watch, my neck was being jerked to stare straight up. It's just difficult. I mean, it's cool, but I prefer them in the end zones.
Anything else that the stadium have that was a big luxury? I heard a story that they had beer in the press box, which nobody has beer in the press box.
They had
But beer in
ground
the press
level
box, yeah.
suites on the field. Almost like little clubs or it was awesome.
The craziest thing I thought was you walk from the locker room to the stadium to the sideline, and you basically walk through a bar. In other words, it would be like having in this restaurant here if you had two glass windows in an alley running through the middle, and you basically walk through it, and you feel like an animal in a cage. People banging on the glass. I heard one
Good thing
guy.
there's glass there.
I heard one guy tell Clay, dance, demanding him, dance. I'm like, what are we, animals? So I got a kick out of that experience walking through this glass plane.
How was the road locker room? I mean, are some of them really dingy and dirty, I guess, along the way, or are they all pretty nice?
I haven't seen a terrible one yet. In college, there's definitely a variety. You get some really nice ones, you get some terrible ones, but so far in the away games, I haven't been one too bad.
No pink locker rooms in the NFL like they had in Iowa?
No, and
They have a pink locker room?
Yeah, it's a whole psychology thing. It's an old Hayden Fry thing that is supposed to calm the opponent down and make them get a soft mentality before the game. But
Interesting.
Nothing like that in the NFL.
Did you see the Des Bryant story? Walked off the field with 1:25 to play in the game yesterday. Apparently, he told reporters after the game he was walking back because he didn't want anybody to see him cry. There's a lot in that I think we'll avoid, and we'll move on to our Brew Pub Pizza Ask the Players segment. Got a few questions coming in on Facebook and Twitter, and we'll get to those as we're hanging out with David Bakhtiari and Scott Tolzien tonight in the Huddle live from Tanner Sports Grill in Kimberly on the Woodward Radio Network. And back at Tanner's in Kimberly in the Huddle on the Woodward Radio Network. David Bakhtiari and Scott Tolzien with us tonight as we get ready for our Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza Ask the Players segment. You got your Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza.
I did, and I actually cooked it. It was really good.
That extra half pound of Wisconsin mozzarella cheese with the
loaded
premium meats, veggies. You can find it in your local grocer. And make sure you like them on Facebook, too. Facebook.com/BrewPubPizza. Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Experience a truly great pizza. Got a lot of questions today from some of the listeners around statewide on the Woodward Radio Network. We'll start with this one from Gary and Nina right here listening on WSEO, WHBY. Scott, how does the game day atmosphere compare in Madison and Green Bay?
Good question. I would say the first thing that sticks out to me is more similarities than differences. Both two very lively and knowledgeable fan bases. I would say there's an added element to the Wisconsin games, just having the band and more than anything the student section and all of their choreographed chants and kind of the pregame festivities with the students get a little crazier, and I think that adds to the game day atmosphere, but more similarities and two great fan bases, both love football and privilege to play for both.
Yeah, a lot of people make the trip to Madison on Saturday and then come up here on Sunday. Probably
not a
a
bad
good
deal.
percentage of the same crowd there. What was game day atmosphere in Boulder compared to here?
It was good. I mean, same thing, college atmosphere. You know, you had a lot of kids who get pretty intoxicated. I think it was.
He's just brutally honest, Scott.
I think it was.
He's
a
saying
little more,
what I didn't say.
What you were trying to say in so many
I mean,
words.
you got a little fun. I think the one difference is in Colorado. You know, there's times where they got a little calm because you know there's a lot of extracurricular activities besides drinking that they do. I think that calms them down a little bit, and then the fact that
they love to ski before every game.
That was a Scott
They're hitting
Tolzien
the
kind of race. But I mean, you know, we through my tenure, the best year we had was 5 and 7. So home games kind of died down. You know, a lot of people didn't really like going to games and staying there the whole time when a team was losing. But I mean, they're great fans. I mean, they showed up. I so much respect. I mean, it was awesome. I loved it there. And I mean, in here, I mean, when I first walked in that stadium, I just had a big old smile on my face. Like it was, you know, something I always wanted to see, like a full, like encapsulated stadium, you know, on top of it. It's beautiful. Two beautiful places.
You're always, and it's funny because there's times where, you know, I've caught you smiling about different things. Like the first time, you know, saw Aaron Rodgers have one of his great games.
Yeah.
You know, you're kind of giddy about that. You know, walking into the stadium as well. Do you still feel like a rookie?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a rookie, so yes.
I mean, you're enough games into the season, a little bit longer.
Very
than
true.
normally.
But I mean, until you know my tenure's up and I can finally say I'm not by the veteran standards, I'm still gonna have to do my rookie duties, you know, and abide. But I still get, I wouldn't say starstruck by seeing the players on my team, but just what they can do. I truly enjoy seeing greatness happen, see people execute something flawlessly, and that's what brings a smile to my face. So when I see plays after the game where Jordy makes those crazy catches and I had no idea about them because we're blocking, it's not like I'm watching that happen. I always go up to him after the next day and just I'm smiling. I'm just telling him, like, dude, that is amazing. Like that's awesome. I didn't even know that even happened.
I still think one of my favorite reactions was David's reaction to your touchdown run against Minnesota, where you juke the guy onto the ground.
Oh yeah.
Did you ever share this with him?
Did you see what I did?
No, I was busy.
He was busy
scoring touchdowns. Okay. I literally turned around and pointed at the dude and was just like, "You just got the la 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 by Scott Tolzien."
Arguably the most
Vick running the
unathletic
football.
player on the field.
No, don't sell yourself short. Right?
That may have been one of the greatest touchdown runs I've seen by a Green Bay Packer, flat out. I mean, athleticism, whatever. That was so fun to watch.
Well, I mean, that was an out-of-body experience, to be honest. I probably will never make anything like that happen again, so we'll
Push the
bottle that
circle
one up.
button and get the guy on the
Yeah,
ground.
and that was one of the few times I actually got to watch an awesome play happen right in front of my
Shouldn't
eyes.
have you been blocking or something on that?
I was running. I was behind you. You're supposed to stay in the pocket and throw the football. You ran, and I was trying to chase after you. So if anything, you're welcome. I was trying to protect you. You just might be a little bit faster than me. That's about it.
The other part of Gary's question, just to get to it, Badgers playing at Lambeau Field in a few years. That's kind of cool for the Badgers to come up here and play in Green Bay.
Yeah, I was pumped to see that. What is it?
2016
against LSU too.
Yep.
SEC opponent. That's something that all of us used to talk about when I went to school there. Man, that would be something to play at Lambeau. A few years previous, the Badger hockey team got to play a game there, and I think it's going to be, just an incredible event. I hope to be there. It's going to be a super unique experience, really, is what I'm trying to get at. And I think they're playing at the Cowboys Stadium, too.
They play LSU at Reliant Houston next year, 2015 Cowboys Stadium against Alabama, and then 2016 against LSU. That's a far cry away from the Citadel and Austin Peay and
Yeah.
and all the teams you guys were
Yeah,
playing.
I'll have to mention that to Matt tomorrow. Matt Flynn, LSU grad, and there might be a little wager on that one.
A little friendly competition coming up. You know, we only got to one of our listener questions, so we'll try to get to a few more here in the final segment as we continue on our brew pub. Lots and lots of pizza. Ask the Player segment. Hanging out here. One more segment to go from Tanner Sports Grill in Kimberly. David Bakhtiari and Scott Tolzien with us tonight on the Woodward Radio Network. And coming back here one final time in the huddle on the Woodward Radio Network from Tanner Sports Grill in Kimberly. David Bakhtiari and Scott Tolzien with us here tonight. And I want to get to a couple more of the listener questions here. Spent a lot of time on the last segment there. This one's coming from Stephen Marinette. I know you guys don't have a lot of free time, but what is your current favorite TV show that you can't miss?
I'm a Seinfeld reruns guy. That's what I stick to. So, yeah.
I was Breaking Bad, and I watched that whole series, and then now I'm just kind of waiting for Game of Thrones.
Okay. Wait for you look like you could be an extra on Game of Thrones.
I would love to be.
You could get that.
That or Pitch Perfect, too, whichever one.
Yeah, what's this Pitch Perfect thing? I mean, you're tweeting out on Pitch Perfect that you and the offensive line should be in the sequel.
We're pretty good. We, we kind of reenact some of them. TJ's got a beautiful voice. Josh definitely knows how to act.
Okay.
And I kind of showed them the movie. Actually, Joe Staley, he's the one who recommended it to my brother. And I watched it with my brother, and then from there it was kind of love at first sight.
It's like Glee the movie.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the easiest way to explain it?
Yeah, but it's like a really good movie, though.
Okay, a really good movie.
Yeah.
Bakhtiari recommended, I guess. Next week is going to be our Christmas show, but with Scott in the holiday spirit here, let's what's your favorite Christmas movie? This one coming from Terry in La Crosse, listening to WFBZ, our great affiliate there.
Oh, man. Put me on the spot.
Christmas Vacation is always it's one of those things, it comes on every year, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You stop whatever you're doing to watch, and you catch another line every year, too. You know, you feel like you know all the lines, and then you watch it again, and something else pops at you.
Never gets old.
I can't think of it on the top of my head right now.
Okay. All right. I want to get to tonight's game. Obviously, Detroit and Baltimore. Any big plans to go home and watch that? Because, I mean, everyone knows the situation. You need Detroit to stumble once here, and you guys went out, and it's your division.
Yeah.
Gonna watch it tonight?
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna watch it tonight. Let's go Baltimore.
More Baltimore fans in the state of Wisconsin, I think, tonight than we've had in a while.
Yeah.
So no big parties to get together or anything? Everybody just watch it on their own?
I'm actually trying to kind of catch up on some sleep. Still kind of tired, to be honest.
You guys got in late last night.
Yeah.
Was it midnight, you were saying?
Yeah.
Before? How about this week, Pittsburgh? What do you know about the Steelers, your next game? You know, the other equation of that, as I mentioned, you know, Detroit, you need them to stumble, but you guys still have to win out, take care of business here with the Steelers, an uncommon opponent. So, you know, what do you know so far on them?
The thing that sticks out to me is just a lot of guys that have been there and done a lot of great things throughout their career. A lot of big-name players on that team, and Dick LeBeau is one of the best defensive coordinators in the game. So, but I think nothing changes at this level. Like, you have to respect every opponent. Anything can happen on any Sunday. So, and they just got a big win last night too against a really good Cincinnati team. So, we'll have our hands full. But you know, nothing changes. You got to every day counts, and we got to win the week of preparation.
And you bring that up, and I think yesterday or this week in the NFL is a prime example of it. I mean, when you look at Denver lost at home to San Diego, I think a game that surprised a lot of people. New England lost to Miami. Cincinnati lost to Pittsburgh, who was a below 500 team. I think they're 6-8 now after that game. And exactly what Scott was saying there. It's really each and every week. I think people get surprised at losses or losing to certain teams, but I mean, this league, the parity is so rampant. I mean, everyone's on an even playing field.
I mean, it's the NFL. People want to say, "Oh, that team's terrible." I mean, those guys play in the NFL. They're good players on that team. So that's why, I mean, yeah, records. People have terrible records, but I mean, there's still unbelievable players on that team. I mean, you also forget Minnesota and the Eagles too.
Yeah, Minnesota 48-30.
Yeah,
beat Philadelphia yesterday for their fourth win of the year.
They've been scrambling around quarterbacks all year and didn't even have their top 2 running backs in. They're throwing up all those points. I mean,
when you look at preparation for the uncommon opponent, what's the difference in this week when you're getting ready for them? Do you have to do more film study? Is there a little bit more, learning about the opponent, I guess?
I mean, yeah, but also, I mean, it depends on the player, how he prepares. I think the one thing I know, I think they run a 3-4 defense. I'm assuming so. I think the biggest difference, I think we've gone against a lot of 4-3.
A lot of Dom's, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of what Dom did back when he was in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. So that's the biggest thing that jumps out to me, and I haven't really looked that much beyond that. But I mean, just kind of, even with anyone, I mean, because it's my rookie year, I have to treat everyone like they're a brand new opponent. It's not like I've just only faced each team in our division twice now. So
was the bye a second wind? I mean, you go back to the Detroit game, and I mean, you guys were trucking along for as long as you were, consistently every week, and it seemed like since the Detroit game, I mean, it's been, you guys have won 2 straight. Was that kind of a second wind?
I think so. It gives you a chance to step back, reevaluate, and kind of start on a clean slate and build your momentum rather than digging yourself out of a hole. And I think it came at a good time, got guys healthy, and we needed it. It had been our first time off since after week 3, so it came at a good time.
Yeah, big.
Scott, thank you so much for coming out, spending some time with us. Really great getting knowing you here, and best of luck here the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me.
David Bakhtiari as well. David, we'll see you next week.
Yep.
All right, in the huddle here from Tanner Sports Grill, David Bakhtiari and Scott Tolzien. I'm Justin Hull here on the Woodward Radio Network.